Good afternoon. Today is Canada Day. Very excited to be here with you. Earlier today we went on a scavenger hunt, so my sous chef is taking a bit of a rest. So I'm going to walk you through on making strawberry shortcake. Very popular for a Canada Day dessert, but really popular anytime when you have fresh berries in season and whipped cream and shortcakes, which we're going to go through right away. Before I get to that, scavenger hunts, so easy to do. Find a theme, make a list of things, and go for a walk with the family. So today being Canada Day, we went looking for a maple leaf, we went looking for a beaver, Canadian flag, all sorts of just really fun things. Okay, making shortcake. The first thing the recipe is saying is to put the flour into the freezer. So we're going to do that, measuring out 3 cups of flour. I'm just going to put it into this small bowl so it's easier to fit into the freezer. So scoop and leveling, 3 cups. This is number 2. And number 3. All right, going to put that in the freezer and wash up the berries and get ready to prep the berries while the flour is cooling. All right, berries are washed up. A little trick that I have is using a potato peeler with this pointy end. It removes the strawberry stems very easily. So we're going to do that. I'll do a few. Give you an idea, just poke it in there, a little bit of turn, out it comes, so it works really well. Get into a bit of a rhythm. July is always strawberry season, so you always find berries in the store and at the farmer's market. Make lots of really nice things with strawberries, but you know what? They just taste so good on their own, just to pop one in the mouth. So to cut them, the recipe says to cut them in quarters. So doing that, I think for some of these bigger ones, so that one's in quarters. I think for this big one though, I'm going to do it maybe in some smaller pieces. So everything's roughly the same size. Kind of did that like that. But for a lot of these that are the same size, quarters work perfectly. So cut like that. There we go. Just got a few more strawberries left to place in the dish here. One nice thing about strawberry shortcake, you can make it all at once, or you can make the shortcakes one day, get your strawberries ready the day of, maybe in the morning, and then do the final prep the evening. You can really mix it up on however it works best for your schedule and what you're doing. Almost ready here. Now this recipe is calling for some sugar on top. It's calling for 1/4 of a cup, but I think I'll only put in 1/8 of a cup. These berries are really sweet, but you need a bit of sugar to help release the juice of the berries as they're sitting for the next little while, and that juice will just bring out more flavor and mix in really well when you do the final preparation for your shortcakes. Okay, we are ready to start making the biscuits for our strawberry shortcake. Now this is one item that you can make in advance and put it in the fridge for a few days, or you can place them even in the freezer and pull them out when you need them. They keep for a little while. So the very first thing we need to do is cube some cold butter. So it's calling for 3/4 of a cup of unsalted butter. So I'm going to use this handy dandy measuring device to get to 3/4 of a cup. There we go. Wrap that back up. And I'm just going to cube it. Okay, push that to the side, pull over the bowl. Give my hands a little bit of a wipe. Now we're going to add in, what does it say? Our flour. So if you remember, we pre-measured our 3 cups of flour and put it in the freezer for a little bit. So just put that in there. Next is some granulated sugar. We need 1/4 of a cup of granulated sugar. Okay, let me grab the measuring utensils. Here's my 1/4 of a cup. So we will add in 1/4 of a cup of granulated sugar. The next item we need is 2 tablespoons of baking powder. Measure that up. 1. 2. Then we need some salt. It's asking for a teaspoon of salt, but when I was reading the reviews for this recipe, some people suggested to cut back the salt, so that's exactly what I'm doing today. So using roughly 1/2 teaspoon of salt instead of the teaspoon. Mix that together. We're going to add in our cubed butter. That wasn't very good. Our cubed butter. Add that into the flour. There we go. Give my hands a wipe again. And now we're just going to use this pastry cutter. I'm going to cut in the butter. This looks like it's almost ready to go. Been using this to cut in the butter. Kind of looks like that. The next step is to pour on some buttermilk and mix it in. So we need 1 cup of cold buttermilk, and it's cold. Now I actually went and bought some buttermilk. I find if you have leftover buttermilk, it tastes really yummy in muffins or pancakes or any sort of baked item that calls for milk. But if you don't have buttermilk or don't wish to purchase it, you can make a substitute just using some regular milk with a little bit of vinegar or lemon juice. You can usually find those proportions on the internet. So we need 1 cup. Measure this to 250 milliliters. There we go. That looks great. And we're going to pour it on top. And it says just stir everything together until just combine, not to overwork the dough. So we will do that. Once that's done, then we're going to turn it out onto a clean work surface. Okay, I have now put the dough, I've mixed in the buttermilk just lightly, turned it onto a floured surface. Okay, I certainly had to add a little bit more buttermilk to make it workable. Then just flattened it out with my hand till it was maybe about a ½ inch thick. I just took a cup and made some circles on here, and now I'm going to cut those out. Just with my knife here. Of course, if you have a circle cutter, that would be, certainly ideal to use, but I don't, so I'm just using a cup, just improvising, having fun, making the most of it. So there's one round, so I'll get the rest on. And what I've decided to do, I have enough rounds for dessert tonight, so I'm just going to take off these extra pieces like that, and these will just become some biscuits or some scones that we'll have in the morning. Brush these off, they're on the pans, brush them with a little bit of buttermilk. And as mentioned, after I cut them, instead of re-rolling the excess dough, I just put the dough right on the pan. I don't need them for anything special, so we can just eat them as regular biscuits or what some people know as scones. Just brush on this buttermilk. Okay, and now we're going to sprinkle with some sugar. You can use fine sugar or coarse sugar. I'm using some coarse sugar because we tend to have it around primarily for our coffees in the morning, but it works really well for finishing off baked items. But fine granulated sugar certainly works. Sprinkle all of these with some coarse sugar. Okay, we're going to pop them in the oven. All right, the biscuits are now in the oven. You might hear a bit of a fan noise in the background. We always use a fan when we have our oven on because it is fueled by gas. We are going to make some whipped cream. Really easy to do. We are going to measure, once again, 1 cup or roughly 250 milliliters. Add in the mixer. You can easily use a stand mixer, a hand mixer, whatever you have at home and whatever is easiest for you. We're going to put that in. A teaspoon of vanilla. And what does it say here? 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar, so we'll add that in also. 1, 2. All right, we'll start mixing that together. Here we go, the last step, putting it all together. Everything is ready. We have our strawberries, we have our whipped cream, and we have our biscuit. So the first thing we're going to do is just cut our biscuit in half. Now you see my biscuit didn't rise up too much. You can use, I think it's called self-rising flour to help with that. I just used regular all-purpose flour. And for me it works out totally fine. So what you want to do is put some berries on. Scoop of whipped cream. So good. Oh my gosh. This is such a great summertime dessert. And you can make this with, you know, tonight we're doing it with strawberries. It's Canada Day, but you can always make this with blueberries or blackberries or raspberries, whatever you really enjoy in the summertime, your summertime fruits. Even peaches would go really well. All right, now we're gonna stick that on top. Oh, it's looking so good. And you can see I like lots of berries, don't be shy. There we go. And because it is Canada Day, we are going to put a little flag. There we go, everybody. Enjoy your strawberry shortcake. Thanks for joining. Favorite flavors. Very excited about this, and I'm ready to go enjoy this one. Have a good night. Bye.